Hello and welcome. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to prepare for and have a very successful phone interview. You know, when the economy gets back on its feet, we will again see phone interviews and these types of things pick up again, so don't fear. And you know, phone interviews are the first step to the hiring process, and often the importance of making a good first impression is often very much underestimated. Phone screens are critical. Those that meet all the requirements are the ones that get called for interviews first. Now here's the thing, not all people meet all the requirements. A lot of people meet maybe 75–85%, but those people that meet all of the requirements for the job are the ones that get those phone calls first, and then the rest follows. Now typically recruiters will arrange a phone call through email, and then we'll call the candidate at the appointed time. Recruiters spend about 30 to 45 minutes on average during these phone interviews, so it is very important that you prepare for these type of interviews. During phone interviews, about 5 to 10 questions are asked, typically around 8. These few questions help the recruiter make the determination who continues on in the process. During this video, we'll talk about how to prepare for these phone interviews, how to have a successful phone interview, and what typical questions are asked during these interviews. At the end of this video, I'll also share what some positive signs are that indicate you may be getting an in-person interview. All right, let's get started. My name is Dawn Casey with over 20 years of leading human resource departments and the recruitment function. I help people with their career challenges, changes, and questions. This is the Career Rescue Coach YouTube channel. What makes this channel a little different is that I've advised many employees over the years on topics that I cover on this channel and in these videos, and/or have experienced myself with great success. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and push the bell. Let's get into our topic. Now, phone interviews are critical and are often underestimated as to how important they are. Make no mistake about it that phone interviews are that first step to get into the door and need to be properly prepared for. Usually recruiters can tell a successful phone interview within 3 to 5 questions. If it doesn't go beyond that, you've just been cut off. So you really do want to prepare for these phone screens. There are some questions that you can count on in a phone interview, and I'll be sharing what those are. But first, let's talk about how to properly prepare for a phone interview. Preparation. Number 1, review the job posting. It's very important to understand and really read thoroughly that job posting. In fact, it's a really good idea to read that job posting 3 to 5 times. And while you're reading it, have a pad and pencil next to you to write down questions, because after reading a job posting, and if you've done it well, you absolutely should have some questions at the end of that job posting. All right, number 2, perform research on the company. I put together a video just on how to research a company because it is so critical. It's called How to Prepare for a Winning Interview, and it will follow this video. It's important to perform thorough research on a company before talking to them, because they will always ask, what do you know about our company and why have you applied? Keep in mind to do more than just glance at the website. That's average. Everyone does that. How about take a look at their values and their mission statement, any news articles, their management team, find out what reviews other employees have given them on their work environment. As an example, have they won any awards for having a good work environment? So there are a lot of things that you should find out about the company before you talk with them. Number 3, practice responses to sample questions. Now I'm going to provide you a good list of sample questions that I guarantee you will be asked. It's the same type of questions that I would ask during any phone screens I've done over my 20 years. So practice, be ready for those questions. Number 4, research and know the person who is going to be speaking with you. It's always a good idea to know who you'll be talking to. Go look them up in LinkedIn, get an idea of their background and who they are. It will only help you build rapport with them when you're speaking to them on the phone, which is always a good practice. Number 5, research salary expectations. It's important for you to know what the salary range is for the position ahead of time so that you can respond to the question that I guarantee you will be asked at the end of that phone screen, which is, what is your salary range? Now, I have covered this in detail in a few different videos regarding salary negotiations, so be sure to look those up. The important thing to know is that plugging in any job title into Google followed by pay scale and the city and the state will help you pull up a very accurate page of what the salary range for that position should actually be. Pay scale is one of the best reliable sources out there. It also helps with figuring out what the appropriate pay is based upon your education and experience, because there are some paragraphs in there that talk about that as well. Now, number 6, charge your phone and be ready for that phone screen. Now, I know this sounds very basic, but I can't tell you, I've lost people on phone interviews, so I just want to give you guys a heads up. Be sure to charge your phone and make sure that it's ready to go for that phone interview. Number 7, prepare questions that you'd like to ask during the phone interview. This is more important than you would actually think. You know, honestly, I used to score people down if they didn't ask me questions during the phone interview or at the end of the phone interview. The reason why is because questions indicate intelligence, engagement, and level of interest in the position. So be sure to write down and have ready at least 3 questions, and then be sure to at least ask 1 question throughout the phone interview itself. Alright, so now let's talk about what are the things that are important to do during the phone interview. Number 1, select a quiet place for the interview. Be sure all pets are put away, children are being watched, and you're free from interruptions. So you don't want any barking in the background or screen doors shutting or doorbells going off. You really want a very quiet space. Number 2, you want to smile during your phone interview. Yes, I know this sounds kind of funny, but smiles translate to happy voices, and happy voices are what recruiters love to speak with. So be sure to smile. Number 3, have your resume in front of you. Make sure your resume is in front of you in case they have any questions. Also, be sure to have the job ad in front of you too, so that if anything comes up or if you have any questions that come up about the job itself, you have that in front of you as well. Also, of course, having that resume in front of you is a great reference for yourself as well. Number 4, remember to answer questions briefly and provide an example, just as you would in person, right? You would do the same thing. Remember to be brief and concise in your responses, and then provide a really good example where possible. Number 5, be an active listener and ask a lot of questions throughout the interview. Because the thing is that you want to show interest, you want to be engaged. So if you're engaged, that means you're interacting and asking questions. So be sure to ask clarifying questions and whatever other questions come up. Take notes, number 6, because taking notes helps you, especially with future potential interviews with that same employer. You never know when that information will come up again. Number 7, send a thank you email after the phone interview. Always, always, always send a thank you note. Not only is it good manners, it leaves a very good lasting impression. Okay, here's some additional tips. Be friendly and be easy to talk with. Be open to questions. Now, both of these things, if you're open and friendly, those are the type of people that recruiters and other people want to work with. So it leaves a very good impression. Offer to provide examples. I get sometimes to the end of the interview and I'll ask that recruiter, can I provide another example for you of anything that we have covered? Be yourself. Sometimes when you have a lot of people that meet the requirements and the recruiter is talking to a lot of people, that one personality that stands out to the recruiter is the person that may get that next interview. Be yourself. So important. It's the one differentiator that you can be guaranteed. Don't be afraid to laugh. It's always my goal to make a recruiter laugh. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it's true. I like to make them laugh because when they're laughing, they're happy, and it leaves a favorable impression. Ask questions along the conversation. As I indicated earlier, it shows interest, intent, and it shows intelligence. So now, let's talk about the potential questions that will be asked during the phone screen. These are the same standard questions that I've asked over the years and the same questions I hear over and over again from other employers. So here we go. Number 1, what brings you to us? And number 2, what interested you about the job from the job ad? What the recruiter or employer is looking for is, did you read the job ad really well, and did you go beyond that and research the company to find out why you truly want to work for them? Number 3, what is prompting you to leave your current job? Now, you may have had a horrible work environment, a bad boss, and all of maybe many more things that were wrong with the last company, but you will always say, looking for more growth and opportunity, or a way to grow my skills as I progress forward in my career. Always keep it positive. Number 4, let's walk through your resume. I loved asking this question. It helped me get to know the candidates and their progression through their career, and it told me a story about who they were. So, expect a question like that. Number 5, tell me about how your skills relate to this position. I would always ask this question to see, again, did they really understand the job that we're talking about today? And more importantly, this is an opportunity for a person to sell their skills and say, hey, this is what I can do for you. So, really great question to market yourself. Number 6, what do you think sets you apart from other candidates? I love this question too because it tells me, again, a story about the candidate and what they think is unique and special and what they bring to an organization. Number 7, what are you looking for in a new job or in the new position or in a work environment? So 7, 8, 9. So if the organization that I'm working for, as let's say as the recruiter, is offering those things that what that employee or potential employee is looking for, then hey, we may have a match. And so that's what they're really looking for. Does this person fit into their potential organization, and is there potentially a good match here for both parties? And number 10, what are you looking for with regard to salary range? Count on this question. Do not be surprised by this question. They will always, always, always ask this. So be sure to do your research. Take a look at my other videos on how to research salary, and be ready for this question. Don't let it take you by surprise. Give them your salary range and be very confident about that. Here's what the employer or the recruiter is looking for from these questions. Ability for a candidate to communicate well. Can they express ideas? Can they communicate? Can they ask appropriate questions? And whether a person has the skills for the position. So on your resume, you've probably indicated that you have the skills for the position, but they're going to verify whether you have the education, the certification, and those skills in context of examples. They want to know that a person has enthusiasm for the position, whether they're truly excited about the employer so that the employer can get excited about them. And they want to hear confidence. They want to hear that the person believes in themselves enough to be able to do the job. And they want to know if the person is a potential fit based upon the answers that they provide. So are they fitting in with what the organization may feel like, and what the environment might be like, and what the job is like? Ability to build rapport. This is very important as part of communication. Can you build rapport with the recruiter or the person that is interviewing you? So be sure to keep those things in mind. So here's a bonus tip that I promised. If an interview went well over the phone, the recruiter will typically let the person know by asking what their availability is, or telling them directly that they'll be calling them back to schedule an interview. However, if the recruiter kind of dodges the question and says, well, we'll get back to you, or we'll see, how many candidates that we have, and, we'll be in touch, kind of those elusive answers, it means you won't be called for an interview, and that maybe you need to practice your phone interview skills. Sorry. Okay, so we have talked about good preparation for a phone interview and how to conduct a good interview. In addition, we've talked about the typical questions to be prepared to answer and what the recruiter is actually looking for from those questions. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and push the bell, as I'd love for you to get the latest and greatest videos. Be sure to check out the Career Rescue Coach Facebook page for great articles and career advice. And be sure to check the comments below and leave a comment, as I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Dawn Casey as a Career Rescue Coach, and remember, change your job, change your life. Thank you so much for being here, and please be healthy and be safe.